Afternoon, Brother Mark with another installment of Butterflies in Life. It sounded kind of catchy, so what can I say? I haven't finished time listening to it, but I have to really give kudos to Brooke and Salves on her Thursday Turner segment, and she talked about emotional sensitivity. I kind of like to call it overreaction, but they're both the same. She has some wonderful pieces of advice, and if you haven't had a chance to get on her YouTube page, by all means do so. I mean, it's just whether you're a Turner syndrome butterfly or working a program recovery or struggle with overreacting, this is a wonderful video. So again, Brooke did a stellar job with it, and my compliments. I was kind of inspired to kind of give a little my take. Yeah, it's just one person's opinion, and as always, take what you like, leave the rest. But one thing I noticed very early on when I started befriending butterflies is I'm given overreactions and overreacting myself, and I'm got a lot of victory over it. I'm grateful for that. I'm really terrible at having people kind of push my buttons, and again, maybe I've acquired some maturity, some victory, and I'm grateful for that. And if you're not there, that's okay too. We're all at various different stages of life and recovery and learning to live life on life's terms. But I got back on the topic of overreaction, and Brooke made a brilliant observation, though. And she said, I have to be careful, and I really can be overly sensitive to things. That's just kind of the way I'm made. And I have to really kind of stop and think and pause if I'm maybe taking them too personally, or if I'm overreacting. I'm kind of embellishing her words. Those weren't her exact words, but the essential gist of it. But she did say I have to kind of stop and pause. And I noticed that when I've been working with butterflies, I quickly figured that out. And one thing that I don't know if it was through talking with other sisters early on, or whether it was just through reading or just watching and observing. But one situation that I could look at, that I or others could look as an irritant and an inconvenience, to some butterflies can be read as a crisis. It's not an attack on butterflies. It's not a slam. I mean, it's an observation. Of course, if I offend anybody, please, my most immediate apologies. But some things that for some might be an inconvenience and an irritant, because the way a butterfly might be wired, can sometimes be misread as a crisis, or maybe not misread, maybe perceived or interpreted. That might be a little more acting. That's again how some react, that some perceive. I have to laugh at some of my own blunders too. So I will go ahead and pull up Brother Mark's greatest moments in overreaction. Let's see. I think this is probably somewhere in the top 10 of the overreaction hit parade. Freshman in college, working at a public radio station, and in comes what looked like a bill from a record company. I was ordering records for the radio station. And all of a sudden, I just flew off into a rage and just tirade. Wait a minute, I paid that bill. How can I bill for $147? I even got proof of the canceled check. Another work study student looked at the invoice and said, Mark, did you go all the way down to the bottom? Balance 0. Thank you for your order. Mother. Oopsie. Can I go hide under the desk now? And my favorite one, my favorite misreading things, and it's kind of relevant. It's kind of a little, and I hope it's a really more fun laugh at ourselves. And I've kind of shared this before, but it's a fun diversion. Alvin, the original Alvin show back in the early '60s, and you can still find it around in DVDs, and you can still find it around on, sometimes pops up on YouTube or Vimeo. But there was a cartoon called Lovesick Dave, and for those of you who've heard it, you can change the channel. But for those of you who hadn't, let's listen. It's kind of fun. The chipmunks noticed that David Seville was being real dreamy, and they started following him around, and they followed him to a building that says "Justice of the Peace." So all of a sudden, the chipmunks assumed that David was getting married, and then they overreacted and assumed the worst, that they were going to get kicked out of the house because David didn't want him anymore because he was going to get married. And then he kept talking to Sweetheart, and it got worse. Then this lovely blonde came over, and David and his cute little blonde girl were being secretive. What really happened was, the real story was, David Seville was going to get a swimming pool for the boys, and the boy said, "You don't want it?" "No." So he gets up. It finally ends up with David Seville getting on the phone and said, "Well, no, we talked to the boys, they don't want it, but if I ever want a swimming pool, I will be sure to call Sweetheart Pools." It's I think those are actually two examples of the faulty definition of assume. Now I'm the PG, keep it sanitary, but I think those are two examples of where somebody leapt before they looked and ended up wearing donkey ears. Hee-haw. Okay, we can laugh at ourselves. And I have to laugh at myself. And again, I know that sometimes for some people, things can be misread. And I think Brooke, once again, has wonderful advice of stop. Pause. Step back. What's really going on here? What's really going on? Does it really involve me, or let me stop back and what can I do to kind of step back and assess the situation? I've had to do it myself, and sometimes I've had to do the story of what's really going on. Do I have all the pieces together? Do I have all the information together? What's the other side of the story? No, I'm not going back to the war, but I'm just giving practical, advice. And because I'm a gratefully recovering overreactor, and I've certainly graduated from the school of hard knocks. And I would probably hazard a guess, for some it's kind of hard to get past the tapes and past the wiring, and it would probably be easier to take high school algebra than to try to redo the thinking. But I think though it's obvious. I'm sure it's possible, and if not, well, maybe we need help along the way to kind of guide us. Yeah, those are my thoughts. As always, take what you like, leave the rest. I hope that was helpful. I hope that might generate some discussion, and maybe some of you can discuss about themselves. Like, yeah, how do we deal with that? Or maybe between Brooke or myself, or even Amy Jo Talark on her Life with Amy series also has some really great mother hen advice on it too. So anyway, that's my take, and I'll talk to you next time.